what time it is, nigga. Better watch how you step in. Yeah. But that was my niggas. Yeah. I'm in a yo. Got my nigga Rawan with me. But that was my niggas, it'll be an honor. You know what I'm saying? Under commanding General, your honor. That for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Look, hey, straight off the top, I love all of my niggas. That shit ain't gon' stop till we on top when we ballin', my nigga. We be fly as fuck, you know them bitches be stalking my niggas. That shit'll never change, and it's the same with all my niggas. City to city, I should be at home. That's what my ribs say. But bitch, I'm grown, I'm in these streets and closed caption. Niggas know we bout that action. If a nigga play with me, then my Hakim gon' let him have it. Hey, think you the shit, this truth the shit. Nigga play, I let that Ruger hit. Get on them tracks, they be like, who is this? I'm rude with it. Ain't got no manners, all them pussy niggas talking shit. Yeah, I know they can't stand us, but we UPK, Louisiana, bitch, that's what I'm ripping. And my niggas solid number, real ones in my section. If you wanna get down, put your boots on, start stepping. Brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood I lay my life down right now for all my sisters and brothers, because I love them. I see them dapping and hug them. It's amazing to see how well we adapt from the struggle. Born again from a life of sin, trapped in the gutter. My mind frame was to kill my own kind. Feeling inferior, waking up ready to die. Run with them killers, so it's just a matter of time. For why take your life or let you take mine? That's when I realized the slaves killing slaves while the white man live to get old. We in them graves, shit got me feeling played. I opened the Bible, went through them records, found out we was royalty, a nation to be respected. But in this world we rejected, we hated for our complexion. Still fighting to get accepted, we hear the truth and reject it. But love is getting corrected, and all my niggas correct me. The commandments, the foundation we erected. Brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. Hey, hey.
Hey, Shalom Israel, Shalom Lord in Christ. We're going to just jump right into Sunday evening Get Down with the Get Down. Okay, clap it up, we're going to clap it up, we're going to clap it up. Okay, we are the ISUPK, started out at 1 West 125th Street under Commanding General Yohana. If you're not an ISUPK, you're not in the truth. If you're not an ISUPK, some stuff is happening in your organization, in your social group, that is not toward the Most High. And you don't have the system in place to govern, to correct, to chastise, and to bless one another. You just don't. You don't have the whole package. And that's why we say, if you're not in here, you're in the truth. Because we got the whole package. We got the package to help you, and we got the package to discipline you if you need to. Okay? So that's why we say we are in the truth. I know you don't have a system to, or you don't have the wherewithal, or even the motivation to discipline. Anyway, I ain't gonna digress before I get started. But let's jump right now into my motivational part of everything. My encouragement. I should say. I encourage you, Israelites. That's another thing we can probably have to talk about a little bit. I encourage you, Israelites, to get yourself together. Get ready. All right. Don't sit around and wait for stuff to happen. Make some stuff happen for you. Because things need to happen. And right now, they're not happening at the rate but we needed to happen so that you could be secured. So, and I mean simply, food. My encouragement is that you plant something, some crop. If you have a yard, make a small garden. If you don't have a yard, you don't have any space to plant outside, make something on your balcony. Make something. If you got an apartment, you don't even have a balcony, put something on the windowsill where the sun is. Do something. Put it in the room where the sun is going to shine in. Put a pot inside the room and grow something in your house, inside your apartment. Just do something. Don't just tread water, as we would say, and not produce or not plant anything. Get in tune with the soil. You'll be surprised. It really works out for you. All right. Get in tune with the soil. Slovakia. So, with that being said, I would like to first start with basically want to talk to you a little bit about some of the current events that happen in my neck of the woods. We normally go through the current events, talk a little bit about what's going on in and around the Bahamas. Then we do a little bit of international current events, and then we get into the topic for the night. And but if there's any question, even before I jump into the current events, if you're online, you could always put the comment in the chat. If you're in the room, open up your mic, ask your question. Let's say Salakia, sir, and then we bring it on. Okay, so let's talk about some current events. What do I have there? Okay, current events. All right, so I'm going to try and do these with a little bit of enthusiasm. Okay, now, current events. The heat index is still an issue. Definitely. So if you're going to be working outdoors, if you're an outdoor worker, please be aware. You need to be taking precaution, meaning you need to be taking let me watch it with the frequent breaks. Let me watch it with that one, because sometimes you can go to your boss and say, well, Officer Kashka said we have to take frequent breaks. Your boss gonna say, yeah, but he was in that he couldn't be telling you every half hour. You take a break 15 minutes every hour. No, that's not the way it goes. Okay, so but you must stay hydrated. And yes, when breaks are called for, when breaks are needed, your supervisor should implement break times, especially when the temperatures get up as it is now. The temperatures are running 92 and feels like 104. When temperatures get like that, if you're working outside all day, you're going to need to be taking a break, okay? Especially if you're in direct sunlight or anything near to direct sunlight. So, definitely, take breaks, stay hydrated, get a lot of fluid in your body. Huh? Work hard and stay strong, okay? Now, the next current event is Bahama Power. The power company actually seemed to be living up to their claim that their promise that they were going to lower the power bill. And it seems like a lot of people have been seeing reduction in their power bill. Now, however, I was not able to see my power bill because the email that I used has been hacked. So I went to the power company and told them, redirect my bills to a different email, but I didn't ask them what was the bills. But once that comes up, I'll see whether there was a reduction on my particular bill. But everybody else has seen a reduction, so I feel like I'll see one also. All right. Now, so remember, I always tell everybody, listen, we are Israelites. That's the first thing. You an Israelite? You might be. You're Israelite, you probably don't know it, right? So look at it like this. You could be royalty, and you living on the streets and not knowing that your father owned the castle right over the hill. Think about that. As an Israelite, that's exactly what you're doing. You living on the streets, and your father owned the cattle on 1,000 hills, and you don't even know that. You think you believe them cattle belong to somebody else. Anyway, we probably can come back to that. I ain't gonna digress too much, but these current events basically let you know that wherever the Israelites are, they're suffering a lot of the same things, a lot of the same situations that we go through here as Israelites. The Israelites go through other parts of the world. And if you know who they are, you can start looking at that. But you need to know who your people are. Right now, more than likely, you don't even know who your people are. You know, that's be an issue with us. We don't know who our people are. So with us not knowing, we don't know when the scriptures say, love thy brother as thyself. Who is that? Guess what? You don't even know who your brother is, so you don't know who to love. You end up loving the wrong person who's trying to do you in. Because all of these people are not your brother on the planet. And you can figure it out. Because you're going to see that it's just not what you want. Okay, so into the actual current event. I digress. Into the actual current event. The police are investigating the shooting incident reportedly occurred on Thursday, June the 18th, which resulted in an 18-year-old man being hospitalized. Now, we don't even have the whole report. But what I say, you don't need the whole report. You don't need the whole report. You can just listen. 18-year-old man and young man, not even old man, 18-year young man involved in the shooting accident. He ended up being hospitalized. It shouldn't be happening to our young man. No matter what is going on, those kind of things should not be happening to the young men. Or the men in general, or anybody, not even the women, shouldn't be getting into these kind of things where they're being hospital, they're getting shooting somebody. All right. That just shows that's a part of the Deuteronomy 28 curse. I'm telling you, curse shall you be in the city, curse shall you be in the field. Wherever you go, it's going to be a curse. You're going to be burdened down with things. Okay, so you go to the next one. Next current event. The U.S. Embassy has warned the Americans to avoid renting jet skis in the Bahamas, stating that decades of inadequate enforcement has resulted in serious injuries and sexual assault on water sports owners. Slovakia. One water sport owner has expressed concern over this advisory. Particular, right? Countries give advisories all the time, and even the Bahamas should be given advisories saying all these that we go to America, you should be getting advisory. Those places are very violent. You should be getting advisory where to go and where not to go and how to be careful. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay? But the thing is, you feel like it may be wrong because your country don't do it, and your country should warn you to stay away from some of these countries that you go to. Okay? So I don't particularly see an issue with that. They have to warn them if they see a lot of things happening, and our government is responsible for warning us if they see things happening in our countries, right? Okay, now there's another indicator that we out of our minds. Okay, robbery attempt. Police are investigating the robbery attempt. Reports that shortly after 7 a.m., a man approaching a woman's bedroom window demanded cash and attempting to gain entry into the residence. He was unsuccessful and eventually fled the area. What do you think about that? I tell you people out of their mind. The fella out of his mind. What are you gonna do? He outside. He demanding cash. Outside, on the other side of the window. So what do you think he can do? Just Superman into the window and jump inside the window and demand cash? Maybe the woman just ignore him, slap the window and say, man, you outside, right? And what you gonna do? Are you prepared to shoot a woman through the window, not even know where the cash is or all that stuff? Are you willing to go that route? We, I'm speaking generally, are out of our minds. Okay? Speaking generally. You could imagine doing something like that. Going to the window demanding. Women slam the window in your face. And there's some of these women that we know in the Bahamas, they're ready to fight you with a gun in your hand. So you have to be ready to shoot them. And if you're not ready for that, you need to leave. Okay? So what I'm saying is we out of our minds. You should not be walking around with a handgun. Because that obviously, if you got a gun and you're robbery, that's illegal. You're not supposed to be going around with any illegal firearms. I'm sure you don't have a license for that. You're out of your mind. We out of our minds, okay? You're walking around trying to rob your own people. That's probably one of the bravest people in the area, right? And you get to try. So what happened to Fort Knox? Huh? What happened to Fort Knox? What happened to the place where all the money? No, you want to go rob your neighbor. Come on, man. Put them guns down. Go help your neighbor. Love your neighbor. Don't rob them. you ever heard that? Love your neighbor as yourself. What you can do? You can rob your neighbor. Come on. I know that's your neighbor. And you know that's your neighbor. And you can attempt to rob them. Anyway, an unsuccessful robbery attempt. Robbery gone wrong. Israelite mad. I'm sure it's Israelite. I'm positive it's Israelite. Because if he was an oppressor or heathen, he'd have been trying to rob you from the bank. He's trying to rob your bank book. You're not even there. He's trying to get money off your account. That's what the heathen's trying to do. But the niggas, they put in gun. So like I need to watch over the words I use before I get censored anyway. But our people, they think they do the wrong things. All right. Okay. And next thing, the next current event. Now, this is another thing, right? This is a drug discovery. Police are investigating the discovery of a quantity of marijuana washed up on the shore of the beach in the Coral Harbor, Nassau, Bahamas. Let me see something, Salak here. I just need to ask a quick question to Google because something just came across my mind. Salak here for the silence. But when this comes out, you can see. Okay. All right. So let me read this again, okay? Because I need to read this thing. Let's Google also. Okay. This says that the drug discovery, police are investigating the discovery of a quantity of marijuana that washed up on the shore of the beach in Coral Harbor, Nassau, Bahamas. The packages were weighed approximately 7.5 pounds and has a street value of $7,500. And so I just said, let me, because I had in my mind, we have a base. We have almost like a military, the Bahamas military base. It's somewhere around that area, right? So I Google, where's the Defense Force base in the Bahamas? Coral Harbor. Okay, now I'm only saying I don't know. I never been to the base. I don't know how big it is. I don't know. All I'm saying is it wash up there and the base there. I don't know. Maybe the base on one end and the wash up on the next end. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I'm only saying it's strange. Coral Harbor, the base is there. Well, the Defense Force base. That if we have a military, that is it. Okay? If we have a military, that is it. And so I ain't blaming nobody. All I'm saying is the base, the Coral Harbor is where our Defense Force base is located, and marijuana is washing up on the shore. I mean, it could happen anywhere, right? But it happened there. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Just to let you know. Okay, so, but that was interesting, all right? Now, let's move on. Another thing that shows that if you look at it square on, you might think something different. An 18-year-old U.S. citizen was seriously injured in a boating accident after falling overboard and being hit by the boat's propeller. And he has been airlifted to the United States for medical treatment. Now, we didn't get information raised and he's Israelite, not sure, right? But chances are the boat operator, if it was a charter, if it was anything associated with that, we trying to make money to live. So we have to do all of these businesses. We have to keep our shoulders to the wheel just to get ahead, just to do some stuff, just to live, man. And so it may just been somebody who brought their boat over from Florida and had the accident, and it could have been somebody who came over on a cruise ship, came over on an aircraft, and was out on one of the local boats. We don't have that information. Okay, but again, you have to be very careful in diving. People have to keep their wits about them. And as a safety professional, you have to be careful all the time. How much ever men are in the water, you have to have your eyes on them before you ever move the vessel. You must see everybody. And somebody else must be able to identify where everybody is before you move it. No matter if the boat is going to run up on the rock, it run up on the rock if you can't see your people. Okay, you cannot move the boat. You can't put it in gear and you have people swimming around it. You got to be careful with that. All right, and that's just a safety tip. But as a safety professional, I always think about things like that. All right, so let's go on a little bit. We finished with our local stuff. That's just quite interesting. We're going to look at a little bit of the international stuff. Now, you all know who Codename Agent Orange is. Codename Agent Orange, the leader of the free world, the fellow the same guy who say when the tanker was coming out of the strait, and they first apprehended it. They asked him, so what are you gonna do with the tanker? He said, what we can do with the tanker full of oil, or we can take it. That's what he said. Agent Orange. That's that guy. Okay, so so when I say that, you know who I'm talking about. Agent Orange, code name. Okay, so current events, international events. Cuba, Cuba really is going through it. Cuba's president announced economic reform to spruce up investment and involve Cubans abroad. He did not provide, he did not provide all the details or a timetable, but said it was time for the change. Now, if you think about it, the people out of Cuba, most of the people who have resources, they left Cuba because they was unhappy with what was going on. They want to come back to Cuba and run Cuba over, and because the thing is, they don't want to work with Cuba the way it is. So I don't know if this is going to work. All right, but again, maybe they are in line with this new president. Maybe they are. But those rich people who left, they left for their money, and they said they wasn't going back into things the way they wanted to be. So we'll see. We can see what happens there. In other news in the international arena, the second current event, well, the two cousins meaning of very close relation, Russians and Ukrainians, they're still at war, right? They're still at war, and they have this ongoing war, and so now they're supposed to, the Russians they're hitting some of the oil. They're going like all of them, and this is disrupting. You'll say, well, why is brother talk about these things? You know why? Because these things are actually going to affect wherever you are. You'd be in this little island. You'd be one of these small little 20 something islands that we have inhabited. Maybe more rocks and keys now. And you wonder, why are the things that going up? That's why it's going up. Because the people deciding what happening around the world and it's affecting you right here. You living on a little island and wonder why a loaf of bread got to cost $5. And that's right. Because them people they doing stuff all the way over there, fighting and carrying on like idiots and wouldn't stop. All right. The next international event. The US, Iran negotiates high stake. Diplomatic talks in Switzerland are ongoing. Tense, right? Tense following President Trump threats of military action. So, code name Agent Orange. Okay. So, again, military action. Is supposed to be negotiating. Check this out. You negotiating, and the fella telling your buddy on the side, where we can yak this gun and shoot you all in a little while. That's what they say. Yeah. So how are you supposed to negotiate like that? Anyway, don't trust people who don't negotiate in good faith. Y'all see what happened before. Okay, the fourth international event, Agent Orange, warns Iran after Hezbollah killed 5 Israeli soldiers amid negotiation. He further warns that Iran he won't have a country if the Straits of Hormuz is closed. He'd make these big, bold, bodacious statement. All right? You ain't gonna have a country. I mean, he could do it, because he could nuke them. Yeah, he could do it. He could nuke them. All right? That's Agent Orange I'm talking about. Yeah. So we don't know how far he's prepared to go, but he's threatening people again, just like a just like a toddler in the sandbox, the biggest toddler in the sandbox, and everybody small, right? Everybody 2 years old, but this 2 year old just seems to be bigger than everybody else. So what he's doing, he's just bullying everybody in the sandbox. He's just pushing the little children around in the sandbox because they just barely walking and he walking a little stronger, so he just bullying everybody around. Anyway, that means we don't digress too much on that. Okay, now the G7 summit in France, they talk about major global headlines driven by diplomatic rights and international security developments, including the deepening rift between the US and Italy. Again, Edomites, Caucasian, the people who run in the world, they decide, that the world is just going to a hell in a handbasket, as the old people would say. Why? Because it's continually being destroyed by those who have the ability not to destroy it, right? Because it's all about the almighty dollar. That's all they're talking about. All these things. It sounds so interesting, and they trying to help one another. No, they trying to see who could amass the most money. They say Agent Orange has now quadrupled his net earning and revenue and assets after taking over the office. He's enriched himself, never to go broke again. The bankruptcy he used to file, he ain't filing them no more. He's straight. Anyway, that's it for that. We're gonna transition from the current events into the current event today. Today, got a question there?
Yes. So Lucky, so just before you get into your topic,
Yes, come on.
Psalms 34, Psalm 37, verse 4. I'd like a general breakdown on that, please, in particular, when it talks about giving the desires of thine heart. I would like to know or to get an idea what
Psalm,
desires of the heart means.
Psalms, say the scripture again.
37 and verse 4.
Okay. Okay. Let's read from the Psalm of David. We're going to read, this is the book of Psalm chapter 37. I read from 1 and I'll get down to 4. A Psalm of David. Fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be envious against the wicked of the or iniquities. For they shall soon be cut down like the grass, and wither as the green herb. Trust in the Lord, and do good, so shall thou dwell in the land, and verily thou shalt be fed. Delight thyself also in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of thine heart. Okay, so if we look at, let me take this thing off of my screen. Okay. All right, so if we look at it like this, right? The psalmist is saying, and I think it goes in back up to 1. Fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity. If following up what this is saying, people are gonna be, if they're doing evil, don't worry, don't fret yourself about them. And neither be envious. Don't be envious of somebody who is working iniquity, for they shall soon be cut down like the grass. Sooner or later, all their efforts is going to come to naught and wither as the grass, as the green herb. Right? Trust in the Lord and do good. So shall thou dwell in the land, and verily thou shalt be fed. That delight thyself also in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of thine heart. Think about how these people who are the evildoers, they doing evil, trying to get the desires of their heart filled. They doing wickedness and iniquities because of whatever they see. Let's just say they example they see they covet. Let's say they covet a neighbor's wife. As an evildoer, he's coveting his neighbor's wife. What this is telling you, this is not telling you that if you desire that wrong thing, that the Lord is going to give you that desire. What this is saying is, when you come into the right understanding of the Lord, the things that you desire in righteousness, the Lord is going to make sure that you get them. Now, it is a learning experience. People just look at it and think, oh, or whatever. God is not a spiritual Santa Claus. The Most High is not. So he just doesn't give you what you want. He gives you what you want according to his wisdom and understanding, and if it's right for you. So that's why I say these people trying to get the things for themselves. But the Lord is going to give you the desires of your heart. In line with his word, his expectation, and the things that you are learning. So the Lord is not going to give you something that's going to harm you, hurt you, or be against the commandments. I hope I understand that. I hope I answered that well enough.
Yeah, Tawada. So you're saying then my desires need to line up with what God wants. Well, our desires, according to that, should line up with what God wants for us. Not so much what I want, but it should line up with what the Lord wants.
Okay. What I'm saying is, in righteousness, you're going to have some desires. In righteousness, if in righteousness you will line up with the Lord. When you follow in the laws, the precepts, and the commandments, you will line up with that. You will love what the Lord love. You will hate what the Lord hates. You will not be festering iniquity in your heart. You will not be doing these things. So you will not be an evildoer. You will not be envious against work. Say, you will not be working iniquities. And that's the thing. If you're not doing them, they doing it to get something. They doing it to get some desire that they have, but they're doing it the wrong way. What this is saying, Um, it's telling you, fret not yourself because of evildoers. Don't worry about them. Neither envy against the workers of iniquity. For they shall soon, and then what they're saying is, you will soon see all what they do come to naught. Trust in the Lord and do good. That's what you need to be. That's what we need to be doing. Verse 3 says, trust in the Lord and do good. So shall thou dwell in the land, trusting in the Lord and doing good. And verily thou shalt be fed. So the things that you need, the Lord will make sure you get it once you trusting in the Lord and doing good. Delight thyself also in the Lord. Delight yourself also in the Lord. Stay rooted, grounded, wrapped up, studied. Do the things the Lord say do. Don't do the things that the Lord say not to do. Do those things, and he shall give thee the desires of your heart. And the desire of your heart will not be that you want somebody head on a platter.
The water.
And about. You good for now? Okay. All right, so we're going to dive now into the topic for the night. It may be a little shortish, but you got some talking to talk and some things to do. All right. So this evening class, I want to focus on today. Now, today has been set aside by persons in the world, and they call this Father's Day, right? I read a couple of little things, and then we go into scripture. All right, Father's Day. This is from Botanica. Well, actually, this is referencing. I think this one is from Botanica. Father's Day originated in the United States, largely credited to Serona Smart Dodd, a Spokane, Washington, inspired by Mother's Day. Just remember that now. Father's Day was inspired by Mother's Day. We can come back and talk about that. She wanted to honor her Civil War veteran father, who raised 6 children alone. The nation's first statewide celebration was held on June 19, 1910. The concept celebrated fatherhood evolved from few separate historical milestones. Now, I want to go back to that and talk a little bit about it. Okay, so Father's Day originated in America. That's where Father's Day originated. But Father's Day was inspired. What I mean? Okay, so Sonora, she was in the service and mothers was being honored. And so I guess she said, okay, well, if mothers could be honored, well, then mothers being honored, I think we need to honor the fathers. So Father's Day was a innocent implementation to honor fathers. Okay? But we can come back to that whole thing also. But what was Father's Day? Why did it come into being? It came into being because Mother's Day was something that was already in play. Mother's Day only happened a few years prior to that in America, mind you. But when we look at Mother's Day, we get a better understanding of the whole idea about Mother's Day. All right. We read a little bit about Mother's Day because the topic is Father's Day, but Father's Day only come in the being like because of Mother's Day. So Father's Day started because of Mother's Day. So why did Mother's Day start? Right? Mother's Day the 2 years, because I think it started 2 years prior to. But where did the initial concept, the initial idea, why did it come about? Why was it generated? Why did it happen? Men are very nonchalant. Men wasn't gonna start. Oh, let's fix the day for you all to honor me. Men don't do that. But so that here. No, my computer is asking me a question. Now, okay, so I had to read that. Now, so men would really not set aside a day to honor themselves. Mind you, they like it when it happens. And after, I guess, after over time, they'll even start to organize it where it falls in line and, it's more efficient and they get more punch out of it, more buying out of it. Men will do that. Okay, Mother's Day. The holiday is honored mothers is a celebration in countries throughout the world. In its modern form, the holiday originated in the United States and was established by American social activist Anna Jarvis. Bang! You hear what I just read? In its modern form. What does that mean? That means it was the ancient form? So in the modern form, that's Anna Jarvis, who sought to honor her mother. The first Mother's Day church service was held May the 10th, 1908. The day became a national holiday 6 years later, and it is observed in the U.S. on the second Sunday in May. Mother's Day is celebrated with cards, flowers, and family dinners, among other activities. Okay? Now, this had ancient connection. Let me see. Just to read a little bit more. Tradition. Although it is originally largely a religious holiday, Father's Day has been commercialized with the sending of greeting cards and giving of gifts. In addition, family meals are often held. Some observe the customs in wearing red roses to indicate one's father is living, or white rose to indicate that one's father is dead. Other males, for example, grandfathers and uncles who have assumed parenting roles are often also honored. So it seems like these these um, um these these honoring celebration seem to be, not a big deal. Okay, don't seem to be a big deal. Now, but let me see if I can get the ancient. Um, Let me see if I get this right. So Mother's Day didn't just start because they say this is the modern one. So there must have been a time when Mother's Day was different, and that's what they're looking for. Um, let's see if we got. Uh, Slovakia. I should have had that bookmark too, but I didn't mark that book. But we see, I'll talk a little bit until I find it. We see that Mother's Day was an old thing all the way from Babylon. Not only Babylon, we also see from the Romans and the Greeks, which comes behind them. We see this tradition um, of Slovakia, where we see the tradition of people honoring goddesses. Okay, the goddesses were honored, and that's where this Mother's Day all started, with goddesses being honored. Um, Let me see. Okay, early traditions that honors mother. Long before a modern holiday exists, ancient civilizations held festivals dedicated to motherhood. In Greece, people honor Rhea, the mother of gods. Romans celebrate Cybele, associated with fertility and life. These ceremonies recognize maternal figures, though they were not directly connected to Mother's Day we know about. So this is saying that these practices started so long ago that it became, over time, it actually morphed into what we have now. Because somebody said, oh, that's a good idea. They were doing it then. Let's do it now. Let's just put this twist on it. But this was one of the things, these are the things which you learned from. You see where you get this from? The Greek, the Greece, right? Now, it's important where things start. It's important who you listen to. It's important which festivals you celebrate and which you refrain from celebrating. All right? And we're gonna look at it right now. All right. Any questions before I move on? Feel free to just open up your bike and then go ahead. Let me see. Let me see if there's anything in this to read a little bit of this before we move on. Modern Mother's Day did not originate as a pagan holiday, but it was influenced by ancient spring festivals honoring mother goddesses. The modern celebration stemmed from 19th century and 20th and the early 20th century social movement in the United States and Christian tradition in the Mothering Sunday. The transition from ancient tradition to modern holidays can be broken down as follows. Ancient pagan festival. Many ancient cultures held springtime festivals dedicated to maternal earth and mother goddess. The most notable include the Greek celebration of Rhea, mother of gods, and the Roman festival Hilaria. Hilaria is in mid-March, which honored the great mother goddess Mega Master or Cybele. Christian Mothering Sunday. As Christianity spread through Europe in the 1600s, these pagan spring festivals evolved into a religious tradition. It became known as Mothering Sunday, celebrated on the fourth Sunday of Lent to honor the Virgin Mary and the Mother Church. Over time, it evolved into a day where children would return home to visit their actual mothers. Modern origin. The official U.S. holiday was founded in 1908. Okay, we already thought so. So, Salakia for that. Now, the thing is, these things you don't think about where they came from and what you should be doing. It seemed to be very benign. It seemed to be very not dangerous to your health, right? It's not dangerous to your health. That's what you see. Everybody does it. In addition to everybody doing it, it seemed to be, just a nice occasion, just a nice time to honor people. It started, where did it start? It didn't start. You see, the origin it did not start. The Most High did not start it. That's the thing. If the Most High didn't start it, you need to suspect that. All right? Now, the Most High got something for us. And I want us to go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10. Jeremiah chapter 10. This is the book of Jeremiah chapter 10, starting at the first verse. Hear ye the word which the Lord spake unto you. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. You catch the power of that? You understand what that is saying? That is actually saying the Lord, whatever the Lord can say now, for the Israelites, for your house, for whoever the Israelites are. This is who it's for. Nobody never tell you that. Thus, this is Jeremiah chapter 10, and I'm going to read the second verse. Thus said the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen. Bam, we could stop right there. Okay? But now this is going to go into some other things. But what this is saying is, whatever the heathens, whatever their ways are, do not learn their ways. You have to be cognizant of the beginning of these things, and are they slowly bearing you away from the Most High? You know, as a boatman, as an amateur boatman at that, not a real boatman, right? But I could find my way around the water. I might not come right back, but I can tell you one thing: when you're doing directions, 1 degree off, when you just off by 1 degree. Think about this. This in terms, if you're supposed to be heading straight ahead, and you just turn slightly to the left, think about this, and you walk a block. You know how far you're going to be off from your target? You think about that. If you just turn slightly off, you're supposed to be going straight. Now, see, you have no way of knowing what straight is. Let's put it like that. Let's say there's no danger, right? There's no danger. It's just an exercise. You're on a big field. You're on a football field, and you have people all around you. And all you have to do is practice, do this to demonstrate this. Blindfold yourself. You'll be blindfolded, and you'll know ain't no danger because all your friends and family around, it's just a game. Okay? Blindfold you and say, okay, now you're supposed to be going straight. But I'm just going to turn you off a little bit to the left. And you must try your best to keep going straight. Right? Think about it. If you are able to keep going straight with that small little deviation from your path, how far away from your path will you be when you get to the end of the football field? Did you think about that? See, what is happening is, the Lord say, learn not the way of the heathen. If you learn the way of the heathen, that's just a little small little deviation. You turn a little bit, even if you don't see the sin in it from the onset. But because you're learning the way of the heathen, you are deviating from what the Lord tell you. And so when you get where you need to be, you're not where you're supposed to be. You understand? You're not where you're supposed to be because you've been diverted. You've gone off course. You didn't stick with the course because the Lord said, don't learn the way of the heathen. What we have been doing over so many years, we've been learning the way of the heathen. We've not been sticking with the things that the Lord told us to follow. We've not. Which feast now? We come to the Christian church. We don't even know all the feast days in the Christian church. You don't know all the feast days? I'm telling you. But we do know the days that the Christian church basically celebrates. Or even if the church don't celebrate it, the members celebrate it. And let's say they're not even celebrating some of the festivities. But they come into church on those days in a celebratory mood. You agree with me? Yes, they come into church that day in a celebratory mood, right? So, Christmas. Now, some churches have Christmas tree at the church and decoration and lights. So, don't even tell me they don't celebrate Christmas. They might bring a tree, but when you see them have all the Christmas light, what do you think that is? That's celebrating Christmas. Okay? And so, then you have Valentine's Day. Don't tell me they don't celebrate Valentine's Day. When they put red and white in the church, what do you think that is? They celebrating Valentine's Day. Okay? Okay. Easter. Don't tell me they ain't celebrating Easter. Because when they have the children doing Easter egg hunt, what do you think they're doing? They celebrating Easter. all of these things are pagan days. All right? Everybody have a birthday. They just have a birthday name every Sunday. They study who's celebrating their birthday. That is that's a pagan origin. Father's Day, the day, this day. Hey, this day. Father's Day, pagan origin. Or at least would we say it's not pagan in origin, but it was a copycat from Mother's Day, which was pagan in origin. And at least you could say, even though Father's Day may not originated in the pagan environment, the Father's Day is that what the Lord said, do not learn the way of the heathen. And that's what you're doing. You're learning the way of the heathen. So Mother's Day, Father's Day. I see your mic. Come with it, sis.
One quick question. When I look at the commandments, and there's one that says, honor thy father and mother, that thy days may be long. Isn't Father's Day and Mother's Day basically honoring fathers and mothers? Just asking.
Just asking for a friend, eh? It's a lot here.
Yes, asking for a friend.
Well, if you think about, you would believe that that's honoring your mother and your father. But I'll ask because I heard this question asked when that question was asked of the man above me. That if your mother or father asks you to do something, and this is just rhetorical, you have to answer this. If your mother or father asks you to do, if they really want you to do something wrong, is it honoring them to do the wrong thing? No. All right. So when it talks about honoring your father and your mother, what does that mean? You know, the Bible also says parents don't provoke your children to wrath. I think it was around the same place. So honoring the father and the mother simply means this. When you was a baby, you couldn't take care of yourself. Your mother and father took care of you. When your parents get old and they can't take care of themselves, you honor them by taking care of them. But you don't honor your father and your mother by doing something they tell you that's wrong and you do it. That ain't honoring them. That's disobeying God, the Most High. So you have to be very careful what honoring your father and your mother is. If you learn in the way of the heathen and you're going to do a celebration with the Lord that's not ordained, you're not honoring them, you're disobeying God. That's what you're doing. You're disobeying the Most High because those same people who having a Father's Day celebration do not have a Passover celebration. They just have an Easter celebration around that time. They don't have, mind you, I have seen a church around when they saw it was harvest, they'd have people bring stuff out of the garden. So I wouldn't say they don't have the some sort of identifying first fruit. But things like the Feast of Unleavened Bread, Feast of Trumpet, they don't do these things. They don't, all of the feasts in the Bible which should be observed, they don't do it. They don't do it, but they doing other things with the pagans have implemented. And that's why we just read the scripture where it say, learn not those ways with the heathens. Don't do the things with the heathens do. And as I made the example, if you do the things with the heathens do, you're going to slowly miss your mark because you're going to be off the angle. You're not going to be going where the Most High needs you to end up because you're going to learn the way of the heathen. All right. I hope I answered your question. Is there any more question? Anyone? Comment to question. And the bar. Okay. So we're going to go to Exodus chapter 20. And in UPK, you should know that's the law, okay? Exodus 20. Okay, now check this out. This is a good and powerful thing which we come upon right now. This is the book of Exodus chapter 20 and verse 1. And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Bang. What I'm saying is, you know why birthdays was implemented? Because a birthday, you be a god for a day. And when you start to honor people, um you elevate them to godlike standard for a short time. And so God said, don't do that to anybody. Don't do that to anybody. Because when you start doing that, you find, see, people just don't realize why they losing their strength. You know why you losing your strength? Because you ain't sticking close to what the Bible tells you to do. If you stick with what the scriptures tell you to do, you'll get stronger. But if you do everything the Bible tells you not to do, you'll get weaker. And then you get pulled away, and then them 7 demons get on you. You'll be worse than you was before when you find the truth. You look at people that you know who was really going strong, and now they lock in the barroom or some stupidness like that, lock into some situation where they seem like they have no control over their own life. Where you could see in the past, they seem to have been pretty much in control, but now they don't seem to be in control because it seems like so much wickedness have bombarded them that they can't see the city for smoke, and that's all that happened. It just happened so subtly, so subtly. You do this, you're learning the ways of the heathen. You ain't learning the way the Lord trying to teach you. And so over time, you just get numb to the word of the Lord. You can't hear it no more. You're now following your own mind and your own conscience. And you end up doing all sorts of stuff because the Lord don't be with you. You know. Yeah, Salakia says, yeah, the Lord don't be with you. With that, so you have to do the things what the Lord wants you to do. You have to obey the commandments. Even when you on your own, you are the Israelites. And if you have not settled that in your mind, that's the first thing you must do. You must first settle in your mind that you are an Israelite. And if you settle that you are an Israelite, and if you have questions about that, that is where you should start. You should start questioning that. Am I an Israelite or not? And if you're not, then it might sound a little harsh. This is not for you if you're not. But if you are, this is definitely for you. And if you don't do it, you will see what happens. And you'll understand whatever challenges you might be having, you will understand it when you look from an Israelite perspective. Don't stand where the heathen stand and look at this. Stand where the Israelites stand and look at this, and you will understand whatever you're going through. You'll understand why you're going through it. If you look at it from the wrong perspective, if you look at it like, oh, you grafted in, you ain't grafted in. Use the plant. You connected to the branch. You ain't grafted in. If you look at it like that, you will realize that, hey, I screwed up. What the commercialists say, that's the moment they know when they screwed up. Okay, so you screwed up. But now there's a way back. And the way back is to follow the laws, what the Lord has said down. Do not learn the way of the heathen. That's all that's happening. And the heathen, it seems so easier than light thing to them because everybody's celebrating Father's Day today. So what they do, they just go with the flow. But guess what? When temptation comes to them, they fall. Why they fall? They wasn't practicing to gain any strength. They're not building up strength because they're not falling. You don't just get strong when you go in the gym. You can't lift the biggest weight. You have to take your time. The same thing in the truth. You have to take your time to get stronger. You have to, all right, we try to share ourselves with the world. And if for some reason you end up in a position where you don't think you're strong enough, just do the whole thing over again. Take the time, share yourself with the world. Take whatever time it is, take the 6 months and say, I'm starting from here. I'm starting from here. And at the end of the 6 months, I can have that name. I can do everything I need to. I can take my time, do everything I need to do, and I can shed myself. After that, I can move forward. But you gotta start with the small things. You can't go in the gym and say, we're the biggest weight I can lift it. It don't work like that. Okay? On Father's Day, when you first come into the truth, when you first get the knowledge, some of these things you will be celebrating because you're ignorant. You don't realize, if you're an Israelite, you don't realize, number one, that you are an Israelite and you have some specific things that you're supposed to do and some things that you're not allowed to do. You're not allowed to do them, but nobody could stop you from doing them. You understand? You're not allowed to break the commandments, but nobody could stop you from breaking the commandments. But if you break them, you die. Not fall down dead, but you become so weak that you become a punching bag for the enemy. But when you start to observe the commandments, you almost like you're in the gym. You bouncing around and you getting strong. And when the enemy throw a blow, you ducking and you bobbing and you weaving, right? But if not, when you're not following the commandments, you're wide open. Enemy throw a punch, bam, you get hit. Throw the next punch, bam. Because why? Simply, you're learning the ways of heathen. And your protection is not in the way of the heathen. Your protection is in the Most High. The Spirit of the Lord is going to be the one to protect you. The punch is not going to fire because the enemy is going to be withheld from even advancing on you. But you don't realize that because you haven't we haven't really locked down the fact that we are the Israelites and God is going to fight our battle. We always want to fight our own battle. Somebody do us wrong, we want to go then and do them something ourselves. You don't want to wait. This is a microwave generation. That's why there's so much things going on in the Bahamas in particular. Suicide. And as we went through the current events earlier, gunshot wounds. This is becoming a regular thing when I do the live. You're talking about gunshot wounds and people trying to commit suicide or harming other people. These are real things that are happening. Okay? So, with that being said, we actually at the end of the Father's Day presentation. Learn not the way of the heathen. That's the whole idea. These celebrations, what we've been taught, and like somebody say, what I was teaching the people also for many years, they're wrong. We need to be teaching them with the Most High, having the scriptures for us to teach them. And we need to learn those things. And if you teach those younger than you, behind you, who you have the influence over, you will see that they'll start developing spiritual strength. But if they're not learning, you will see that they'll be developing spiritual weakness. You will watch the enemy punch them in the face. Not literally, right? And you'll see you'll see them one day, they smoking a cigarette. The next day they smoking a marijuana. The next day they drinking to the point where somebody got to pick them up on the side of the road. They get into fights. They having sex. They having sex with partners. All of these things going on. And none of them should be happening. Right there, but I learned. Any question before we wrap it up? Question about anything. It don't have to be the topic. It could be something else. Okay. But with that, you can clip it there for this evening class. Maybe we'll get back on another. We in the book of Genesis, and we were going through that pretty good, I think. And so we'll pick that up. We're actually talking about the Israelites, so we'll see where we've been dispersed. We talk a little bit about that. We'll talk about that some more, and we'll try and I try and help you identify who you are, because that's really, really important. You got to solidify that in your mind, and once you do that, you'll have the strength to conquer anything that comes before you. Okay, so with that, this is the security announcement. We had the ISUP case started out 1 West 125th Street under Commanding General Yohana. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limit for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They're here to shed themselves off the world. After a 6-month period, if a brother or sister have a particular interest in a person, they must get permission to speak to the person. And then after that 6 months, they have to get permission to marry the person. Okay, tithes, which is a commandment. You can find that Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8-10. It means tenth in the Hebrew and is pronounced ma'ashura. 10% of every penny of any increase that the Lord give you give to the treasury department or the teacher. Priest fund. Free will offering for priests is not mandatory. Whatever amount you like to give a priest, you can. Remind Akim and Atwadian. Check the social media for events and material. If a brother wants to be a troop in the school, he should start wearing all black, which includes black boots, black pants, black shirt, black headband or scarf. And with that, we'll say to any of the brothers who will see it in the future, we'll say, how about Shemi Hawashai Barakatah to the brothers, and to the sisters, we'll say, Yahweh Shema Alatam Baha Shemi Hawashai. And with that, class is missed. Shalom, sisters.
Shalom.